Now, let's jump in and take a look at some of the practical tool sets that we can use to carry out our social engineering. And the first one that we want to look at is a tool called Social Engineering Toolkit. And SA Toolkit is basically a tool set or a toolbox essentially with different bunch of tools for a bunch of different styles and attacks. We can do things like spear phishing, we can do things like mass mailing, similar to what we've spoken about before, like farming. We can do things like USB drops, if we're talking about specifically baiting attacks. And in an upcoming video, we're going to do a USB payload development. So stay tuned for that one. Then we've got things obviously like web-based attacks, like our mailing, simple mailing, mass mailing attacks, and different sort of payload developments as well. We can go in there and create interpreter sessions and interpreter shells to obviously help us with our payload and obviously getting physical initial access to a physical component of that environment. Now there's other tools as well. Now this menu, it's a menu-like driven platform, as well as other tools out there, which is like the Social Engineering Toolkit that can help us as well. We've got other platforms like Wi-Fi Fisher, and Wi-Fi Fisher is something similar if you've been familiar with the industry, such as Hack5's Wi-Fi pineapples. These are tool sets that allows us to basically take a wireless card and then we can create wireless networks that allows people to connect into them, similar to like a rogue access point. So we can create access points, and then that might be the legitimate one. So I'll put legit, and then we can come along with that access point, and then we can have obviously better signals to authenticate all the users and allow them to connect to us, right? So that's a rogue AP. And these are very common, right? You can use this to do Wi-Fi auditing. So you can go away. Wi-Fi Fisher is a great one. Hack5 Wi-Fi's 5 pineapples are a great one as well. I should say Hack5's Wi-Fi pineapples. Then we've got tools like Shellfish. Shellfish is another tool set that allows us to go away and actually, create farming and do fake websites, and we can use them to basically create links to websites, and we can do a bunch of things, right? Essentially, it's basically, you know, create a Netflix account or a Netflix page or a PayPal page, very similar to like um, PayPal. We can go away and clone websites, right, for credential harvesting essentially, and then that's the main outcome for Shellfish, right? It's a good local area network tool set that we can go away and then basically create a harvesting platform to us, to capture those credentials. And then another one over here is Beef. Beef has been around for many years, and Beef is basically it works kind of different, and this is more of a browser, not Bower browser. This is a browser exploit. And this what essentially aims to do is a couple of things. One, it uses something called Java hooks, and the Java hooks essentially tie into websites. So the website watches for the browsers connecting in, and once they connect, it basically puts hooks into these browsers, and then basically allows to embed itself into the web function, right? So then from there, we'll have that connection into that user's web browser session. So essentially, basically, bees, you can take screenshots, you can enable webcams, capture cookies, basically the site that people visit, etc. So takes these Java hooks and essentially embeds themselves in the actual browser, and then we basically exploit that browser session, which is pretty cool. And we can do all that through Beef, which is a really cool framework. Some other things that we should be considering as well while we're on physical and social engineering engagements are using burner phones. Now, there may be times we're going to have to communicate with people. Maybe we don't obviously want to use our actual phone numbers and our devices themselves, but we have to get, burner phones or create sock puppets in that instance if we need a sock puppet presence. Obviously being aware of, the phones, and then we need to take that into the next step there, which is spoofing. We have to use tool sets that allow us to spoof the numbers, spoof the accounts, and there's a bunch of tools out there. A very common one that I've used in the past is Spoofcard, and Spoofcard is a great tool that can help us do that spoofing for us. Other considerations, cameras. So we're going to have to obviously maybe set up cameras in environments that allow us to either shoulder surf or give us the capability to capture pin codes or lock codes, or people that are entering details into a safe, for example. We can set up a little 1080p camera that's the size of maybe your thumb, and you can IP connect these things, and then they basically screen record you know uh, that area very well. So you can put these little things in multiple little areas, and then you can sort of capture that location by using cameras, which allow us to then capture pin codes or lock codes, or people putting in details of, man trap doors, etc. And cameras are very, very handy throughout those engagements. Then we have things like lock picks if we need to get access to a little cubicle or a certain, facility that has a general lock, for example. We can lock pick that thing and open it up and get the contents of those storage devices essentially behind the door, or whatever that lock pick is supporting. Um, then we have our RFID cloners. Now these are devices that we can take that go away and basically clone badges. So basically they'll work and they'll emit RFID tags, and they'll basically emit a type of access or signal, so a remote frequency signal, and then basically we can take that signal and then duplicate that signal onto our device, and then we just basically get one of those HD cards. They come in a pack of 10 essentially. They've got 10 cards in it where you go on, buy these things from Proxmart, and they have different flavors of Proxmark that we can go away and buy these things from. Basically, what we want to then go and do is each of these tags has like a unique identifier, and then as it emits that unique identifier, we can then take that and then clone that to our spare card, and then we basically have access to that card, and then we can get access to those buildings that have the swipey, and then we can swipe and then get access to that facility. So RFID cloners are a good tool set that we should have in any social engineering or physical engagement. And then the last thing is under the door toolkits. And these are basically hooks that, as you got a door here, and then you've got the little door handle there. These hooks kind of, if I draw it out a little bit, has a hook like that, and then it's got a bit of a string thing at the bottom here. So what you want to do is, as you sort of insert that underneath the door, it sort of latches onto the door, and then you kind of pull this little lever here, and then it just basically pulls the door down and opens the door. So should a door or facility that maybe is locked on the outside, you kind of connect into the bottom of it and then pull it, and then it opens the door. So if it's just a normal apartment door, for example, you can slide in and open it up, not a double or an RFID clone actual door that has proper access controls and security in place. But if it's just an out lockable door in that front, you can insert these under the door tools, and then it basically opens the door up. So another good little handy tool to have in your arsenal. And this is just a short video around some social engineering attacks and tools, adding on from our previous videos. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and as always, see you all in the next video. Bye for now.